Hello everyone, welcome back to Pommy and Oz. I hope we're all doing really well. If you could do me a huge cheesy quaver, drop a like, drop a subscribe. It means the world to me and it would really get us to 1,000. We're so close, 25 away, I can feel it. If only Carlton win against the Bombers. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to do Carlton versus Bombers, the preview, my thoughts. A lot's gone on in the Carlton world as well this week. We've had Mark Lagoudichet. He steps down. Now, whether you think that's a good or a bad thing, let's briefly touch on it. We know my feelings on it. I've been quite vocal about this. I've seen it with Leeds United. I've seen their transition from a footballing powerhouse to irrelevancy to back to where they belong in the Premier League, and it's going really well for them. And I think the similarities as well from being around in the UK, from when they were a powerhouse to when they did go down, is very similar to Carlton. There's always been a mantra at Leeds that they had to escape the dirty Leeds tag. They were a very fearsome side to go. Even when I was growing up, the bite your legs still was there. The dirty Leeds chants. They were a vicious, tough team to play. And it's something that their fan base built themselves proud of. Carlton's history as well, very similar. Obviously, we had the salary cap scandal, which has made us hated. And it saw the Leeds hierarchy kind of escape that mantra and avoid it, and I feel like this club has escaped who we are. We've heard that old Carlton, new Carlton, and to me your identity is your identity. And one thing I'll say about Mark is he's made us strong off field and he's set us up with success, and I think it's a good time to go. Do I think the timing's right? No, I think the timing reeks of distraction, and for me reeks of kind of make it about yourself. I hope I'm wrong, and I know you might say, Pom, you're a bit harsh there. I don't really agree in the timing of it. I think it's good we've got a contingency plan, though, and as always with Carlton, everything's scripted well. For me, though, we've got to thank him for what he's done. He's built a very successful team off-field, but for me, that's part of our issue. We're year 6 in this rebuild, and we're strong off-field. And hopefully now, the new chairman coming in, I wish him the best of luck. It's a tough gig. It's probably the most high-profile gig in AFL because we're a hungry group. I hope the focus is more on-field because to me, and you can argue all day long, finances are important and stuff. That's fair enough, but the simple mantra in sport is make money by being good on the field. The big sponsorship deals in world sport are from successful teams or teams that are good. We build ours on good PR. It's time to build it on just good football. It's good football, that's all saying them out. But Mark Lagoudichet, great job, mate. Great job. I think we'll all thank you for the hard work and endeavour. It's a tough gig. New guy comes in, though. Let's hope the onus now really is and the focus is on field. Because that should be the priority. Everything else is secondary. Anything is secondary to your results on the field. And that is all that matters, really. It's CFC, Carlton Football Club. Not CPRC, Carlton Public Relations Club. So it's always important to remember that. Now, talking about PR, if you wanted to name things Pom hates, it's people who put tomato sauce with a roast. And just behind them is Essendon Football Club. Because you'll never remove that. Ketchup does not belong on a roast. It means your nana ain't cooked it right. So let's get stuck into it. So it's going to be an interesting one, this one, because Essendon flattened to deceive last week, and if we take a look at the numbers, this is where I am concerned. It's the number 1 tackle side in the competition. Now, Brisbane, they were top 5, and we see at the moment our team struggles against opposition that tackles. We're 14th in tackles, and it's where you saw Brisbane and really come to the fore. When they up their tackle numbers, they up their pressure. Our strategy kind of crumbles apart. And I think it's very interesting that suddenly the AFL pundits have picked up on what I've been saying since round 2. That strategically, that tactically, that position-wise, we are diarrhea at times. And I think the most interesting telling stat, and I want Carlton fans to look at this week and really be like, right, Pom's giving me homework. Top 3 clearance side in the comp, top 5 hit outside in the comp, and top 50, and it goes down to top 12 hit outs to advantage. So we get a lot. We're bottom 5 though for these clearances becoming product. And that is a worry because we're playing a side that has got their success this year by conceding clearances galore. They concede clearances. They concede inside 50s as well. Carlton's strengths are their weaknesses. So they built their game plan on it. And I want us to really look at this week on how we scatter from clearances. It's very predictable. It's very congested. Our wings like to push up in the corridor. And it's interesting because Teague made a very important statement, I thought, in the post-game, that he didn't like our handballs. Now, you want to beat this side, the handball comes into it. They're up for the fight, the pressure. They want this game to be congested. They want it to be slow. That's their strength. They want to slow you down. So you're going to be looking at these handball chains and you're going to be looking at the outside run. And it's a question for me. I mean, I think when you bring in the magnitude of this game, it doesn't get bigger than this. Like, it'll never get bigger than Carlton Essendon at the G. It's a game when we're good, we win. It's a game when we're crap, we somehow find a way to really make it tight and get the result. And it's going to be an intriguing one because we know Essendon, they're 2-4. So are we. Everything's even. You even look at the statistics as well. There's not much going on. And there's something here that I want to talk about. Now, a lot's been talked about our older players. You look at Carlton's side that's been out in the last couple of weeks, right? Age, 25 and 1 month for Essendon, 26 and 4 months for Carlton. Now, less than 50 games, 11 for Essendon on their best 22 on average, 7 for Carlton, 450 to 99, 5 to them. This is the key one though, 100 to 149, we've got 7 players, they've got 3, and 150 more, we've got the same, 4 apiece. And it's that core, the 24 to 20 to 30 is where this game the job will get done. And at the moment, our senior players, particularly our over 30s, they're the ones that come under question. Your Levi Casbolts, your Eddie Betts, your Mark Murphys, and that is where we're looking to them. Now, I personally would like to see, if we are serious, one of them gets dropped. Now, for me, if I was picking the team, that would be Eddie Betts would come out for this one, and I would bring in Joshua Honey in this one. I don't think Setterfield, for me, has done enough to warrant coming back in. And I don't think you can warrant it. He had 8 touches the week before. He had a few tackles. This week, just gone, he had a lot of the ball and he had a lot of tackles. I want to see a bit of sustainability. But Honey has been doing that quiet forward pressure business really well. And I think 2 facets to Carlton's weakness at the moment, and there's a few, but I think one is our clearance work. I think we don't spread enough from the contest. I don't think we move it enough. And I think in the end it results in a hopeful bomb forward, which has resulted in a turnover, and scores disintegrate from it. Scores from turnover hurt us, particularly in that midfield area. The midfield turnovers, a large number of them are coming from clearances and stoppages. And I think it's just because there's not enough movement. So I want to see a bit of spread. I want to see options, because at the moment the only option is to boot it down and hope Harry Kate takes a worldie. The second one is forward pressure. I think the pressure that descends on our team, and I think this is important. I don't think it's an unskilled team. I think these guys, you watch them in training, they hit targets week in, week out. They're a good kicking side. That's why the tactic is there. Problem is when you're under pressure, accidents happen, mistakes happen, and we see it a lot. And that starts in the forward half. And at the moment, there isn't enough stoppages. We look at these inside 50 counts and we rave about them. But watch that first quarter. We were dominant in the first quarter against Brisbane. We took an 8-point lead in. But the problem is it doesn't stay there. It gets kicked out to the outside of 50. That's where that sexed up inside 50 is, because then it comes out and it's another piss poor entry, which then gets released. The midfield put a bit of pressure on it, comes back in. It looks good on the stat board. You think, oh wow, they've done well. But you actually break it down, it's not good enough. It's very easy to escape. And you see how our zonal system breaks down. It's these little dainty chip kicks around the ground. And Brisbane exploited it, Port Adelaide exploited it, crumbles like butter. We need to have that pressure, and Josh Honey has been applying that pressure. I rate him. There was a fabulous goal. Watch his second goal. He ragdolls a key defender. Won a little bit of heart. Okay, he's young, you could argue that, but I think it's important. Moving into this game, Essendon are playing decent football, and I hate to say it, particularly last week as well. We're seeing Darcy Parish which gives us hope that Darcy Parish and Paddy Dow, because very similar players in the terms of they're the whipping boys of their side, and Parish has come good. He's playing in his native position, dominating clearances per game, and he's a goal assist merchant as well. He's really bringing players in. It's going to be interesting because that Parish Merritt combination on the ball is working well, and Carlton can replicate that with Cripps and Walsh. We can replicate it, and deploying Ed Kerner more as a stopper around the ground. I would be inclined for Ed Kerner here to really look at Meza, look at Merritt, put a bit of pressure on him, and let Cripper and Walsh clear house. And we need to be using Sard here and Williams. And Williams come under a lot of criticism, these two. Ball's not moving fast enough for them. If you look in the first quarter when there was handballs, they looked pretty tasty. When we went back to a more slow, stagnant game, fell apart. You've spent 1.3 million on these two players in salary. If you're not utilising them to their strengths, there's no point. You wouldn't go out and buy Haaland from Dortmund and play him at centre-back because he's a goal scorer. So don't do that with these guys. These guys need the ball in motion. And I think Williams there, I would maybe be inclined to have him coming in from the wing. I'm not saying play the wing, but play just on the outside of the centre square. Have him as that kind of like first receiver almost. And let Walsh and Cripper float on the ball and enjoy it. And have him a bit more loose. Give him a bit more freedom. That's what I'd be looking here, because I think you can break it down. I thought Cunners did really well last week, and I thought what was really impressive about him is his moments on the ball. He does that. He looks to move the ball. But I also think he needs to impact more, and I do think him running with the ball kind of does that. I think at the moment when we play players on the wing, at times we get resorted to playing someone who doesn't belong there, and that slows it down. You see, Cottrell, he looks to take off. I'd be inclined to maybe floor Cunners, Williams on that wing, and have the mantra of take off, go, enjoy the game, because we saw Doc, we saw Sard, and at the moment it's kind of not quite working. The kind of not that conduit, because at the moment Doc is very proficient at getting the ball slowly and then moving on from it, where Sard needs the ball in motion. He likes to hit a running ball. So for me, that's what I want to see. This game will be won and lost by our ability to contain pressure, handle pressure, and in turn enact it. Because they stop the handball really well, but when it hasn't, that's where their losses have come. Teams have exploited it. Their whole game plan is compacting it and making you kick. They descend on you very quickly in pairs. And that is what we're going to be looking at. So we're going to be looking for outside run, and that's where I think our struggle is. It's how we set up defensively and our ability to transition back into defensive sets, but also move very quickly off the ball. You watch Carlton, I want everyone to go home tonight and watch the second quarter. Just look ahead of the ball, particularly from stoppages, from kick-ins, particularly from behind, after we're behind. Watch how stagnant it is, and then watch Brisbane in contrast. You've got to be moving, and against Essendon, if you start standing still like Collingwood were guilty of at times, and we know they've got a possessional game, it falls apart. It falls apart because they eventually make you kick it long, you're in trouble. Collingwood don't exploit the handball, and that's one of their negatives. It's going to be a tough game, but this game, to finish with, I fucking hate Essendon, man. Like, if you're not motivated for this, as a fan, as a player, like, if I was the coffee maker at Icon, I am making the shit-hot lattes, mate, and I have no clue. I haven't got a Scooby how you make a latte, but you know what? It'd be bob on if your Uncle Pom made it. This is it. This is a turning point of the season, potentially. We talk about line in the sands. I feel like I'm saying it every week. But you lose this game, psychologically, all your rivals have beaten you. And Essendon are a side that many people had bottom four. And they start beating you, big questions are going to be asked. It's a motivation factor now because the old chairman's gone. And when someone new comes in, there's always question marks. And there's been a lot of question marks on Teague. Hell, I've had them. And I'm probably one of the loudest speakers of that. This is a chance to show you back Teague in. And you're validating and stamping and sealing it. Because suddenly it becomes a lot easier to jettison staff. Because a new chairman comes in. A new direction. Theoretically, this is an audition now for everyone's jobs for 9 months. And that's how I'd want the players to look at it. The players and the staff. You want them in, you perform for them. And this is the big stage, man. Big stage. MCG, Pats Arena, old rivals. This is the old firm of the AFL. And you know how much the old firm means to me. It's going out there with passion and pride. And if you can't get up for it, this is a great building block for the Carlton Football Club, because the next group of games for this football club are tough. Tough. They're very, very tough for this club. And you know, if we lose this game, it's going to be very tough, because up next, you've got some real tough games. You've got the Doggies at Marvel. We know how well they play. You've got Melbourne at the G. They're playing great footy. You've got Hawthorn at the G. Now, that's a 50-50 because for some reason Clarkson loves playing us. Then, round 11, we finish with Sydney at the SCG. So, really, this is one game that you would say is a potential banker for the next 3 at least. So, Carlton have got to go in this with a mindset. Positive mindset. And it's on the line, isn't it? The C monogram. So my message to the players is, remember that there is 80,000 of us that backed you and believed. And we still do, just because we're vocal. Don't want you to be like the nutters out there that think it's negative. I want you to see that this is people getting angry because they believe in you so much that the dross you're performing isn't there. It's not acceptable. I know some people are saying it's acceptable to lose. It ain't acceptable to lose. It never is. 3 goals against the top 8 ain't acceptable anymore, because we were told we're a top 8 side. This entire structure has built for Carlton Football Club in 2021 to be a top 8 side. Not a close side, not an honourable side, a side that is impacting. The top 8 sides beat Essendon. And it's okay saying top 8 sides have lost to them. It's cool. But top 8 sides have also won the games that we did say this about at the start of the year and all. So this is a must-win game. And if they can't get up for this, the review will be harsh, because this is it. So go out there, play with freedom, play with love. Remember when T came in, it's about playing your role for the football club and embracing who you are. We're going to see a lot about them. Embrace who you are, because Carlton Football Club fucking hates Essendon. Carlton Football Club stands for winning, success and history of the AFL. So go out there, make history, boys. It's going to be tough, but we're going to get it done. We have to get it done. Don't ask me the score, because the stats say we're probably going to lose this game, but my heart says we're going to win it. I believe we're going to win it, because the boys have got to find a way. Dig deep, believe in each other, run for each other, tackle for each other, play for each other. More importantly, play for us, because we're with you every way. Every tackle we take and every tackle you lay, we lay with you. Go hard, boys. Go Blues. Till next time. Palm out.